So, in this little video, I'm going to look at independent samples and paired samples t-tests of the kind that you'll need for the assignment. So, first of all, independent samples t-tests, where you're comparing either males to females or condition 1 to condition 2. So you've got participants who are only in one group or the other, not in both groups at the same time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to compare calm, alert and content in this data sheet here, so these measures of mood, and I'm going to compare them between these conditions 1 and 2 in the condition column. Okay, so to do this, we click on Analyse, we go down to Compare Means, and we go over to Independent Samples t-test. So you put the things that you're going to, your test variables, the things that you're going to look at the differences for. So calmness, alertness and contentedness, I'm putting in the test variables, and then what's going to group them, what groups are you going to compare. So I said I'm going to look at condition in this case, so I put that into the grouping variable. When you do that, you get this little condition question mark thing appear, and what you have to do is click on define groups and just put a 1 in for group 1 and a 2 in for group 2. Click on continue. The reason you have to do that is because I've used codes of 1 and 2 for my conditions here, so that's why I've put 1 and 2 in for those defining groups. Okay, and then we click on OK. And this is what we get. Quite a lot of output. First of all, we have got the descriptive statistics, or group statistics as they are called in SPSS. You would need to report these. You would need to report the sample size, the mean and the standard deviation for both conditions, in this case, for each of the 3 variables. So all of this table is pretty important, apart from we don't need to report the standard error of the mean, but all the rest of it you should report. Just draw up a new table. We then get the independent samples test table, and again we've got 3 tests in here because we've got 3 variables, so I'll just look at one of them. So if we look at, no, I'll look at 2 of them. Calmness first of all, we'll look at the equal variances assumed line. We go across here and we find we've got a t-value of 0.580 with 63 degrees of freedom, and the p-value is 0.564. So it's not significant. It's not significant because it's not less than 0.05. So the t-test indicates there is no significant difference in between the no aroma and rosemary aroma conditions for the calmness, the change in calmness scores for these participants. So it's not significant. Okay, because it's not significant, you needn't go on and calculate Cohen's d. You can if you want to, but it's not essential. If I look at the next one, alertness. So if I look at alertness here, then we find that the t-value is 2.264 with 63 degrees of freedom, and this is significant, 0.027. This indicates there is a significant difference between the 2 conditions on the change in alertness. And so then we can go back and look at the means and see that the mean for no aroma of 4 is significantly different to the mean of rosemary aroma of minus 1.2. So that difference is significant. And that's all that you really need to present out of the table for the independent samples t-test, apart from the Cohen's d value. So, if I go back to this spreadsheet, if I can, there we go. I'm going to do a paired samples t-test now, and I'm going to do a paired samples t-test on test 1 against test 2. So these are 2 separate tests, so we can see if there's a difference between test 1 and test 2, because all of these participants are the same as all of these participants. Okay, so click on Analyse, Compare Means, Paired Samples t-test. got to select the pair of variables we're going to look at. So it's time-based, and event-based. They're the ones that are relabeled test 1 and test 2 in the spreadsheet. Click on OK. And there we get the output. First of all, we've got the paired sample statistics. Again, mean, sample size, standard deviation for both of the tests. So you need to present all of these again. You don't need to present the standard error of the mean. We then have paired samples correlation. You can report this if you wish. You would expect these to be correlated with one another. It's not essential. They are significantly correlated though, and you could report that if you wanted. The paired samples test itself comes next, and the important bit that we've got is the bit on the right hand side here, where we've got the t-value, which in this case is minus 2.112, the degrees of freedom 64, and the significance, which is 0.039. So there is a significant difference between these two. So you can go back to the mean and say that event-based at 15.75 is significantly higher than time-based at 15.12. Now you might not think the difference between those means is very big, and it's not, but we've got a healthy sample size of 65, and so that helps this rather small difference achieve statistical significance at 0.039. And that's doing independent samples t-tests and paired samples t-tests.